What's up everyone, Chris in the Review Cave here with my first real vlog video. Now, I did an update video previously up on the channel saying what I'm planning to do with these types of videos in between a lot of the bigger videos I have planned. That way I can talk about manga and whatever episodes of a show are currently airing without getting a copyright claim or copyright strike, whether it be wrongly accused or maybe I did something by accident. That way I can keep giving you guys my opinions on a lot of these new shows and manga chapters and whatnot. Ooh, new glasses. So, see, a lot of these videos are going to be unscripted, like I said previously, with my fresh takes on everything and what I believe I liked and disliked about specific things that will be in these vlog type videos. So if you can tell by the title of the video, today I'm going to tell you guys how I caught up with the One Piece manga and what I personally liked and disliked about it. So, let's get started. So, One Piece, I honestly stopped reading around the time Act 1 of the Wano Arc concluded in the manga. So yeah, not long ago. So, over the summer and more recently now, I ended up getting back into One Piece, starting with Act 2, since I left off at Act 1. Excuse me. And I have to say, I did like it, and I'm currently caught up with the manga at this point in Act 3 during the flashback arc that is going on. So, first let me just say, I really am enjoying Wano. Wano started off with a bang, and honestly, everything that's going on in Wano at this very moment is hype. Everything in Wano is hype. People have stated that Wano isn't as great as it is, but due to everything that's going on in Act 3 and what happened towards the end of Act 2, make everything worth whatever has happened previously. Act 2, and plus this is honestly right now in the anime, Act 2 is being adapted right now. And honestly, I do like the pace the anime is going, with the fact that they're not doing any filler and going right into Wano. And they're adapting things pretty quickly. I do like how they, within like 17 episodes, they got into Act 2 of Wano, and it's pretty good. I believe they're going to do like another 20 or so episodes for Act 2 and then go into Act 3. Because by the time Act 3 is done, Act 3 will end up being adapted by that point. And they're doing a really good job. But I'm not here to talk about the anime. I'm here to talk about my experience with the manga and what I personally liked about it. So, with Act 2 of Wano, I liked everything that was going on with the prison break arc that was going on. Oh man, something was in my throat. The prison break arc that is going on in Wano currently. Luffy and Kid stuck in a jail cell, pretty much competing to be the top prisoner. It's something I really do expect from those two characters because they both want to be the best and do have a type of rivalry going on. And during this, we meet one of Kaido's strongest subordinates and leaders of the Kaido Pirates, Queen, who has a pretty funny design and has a pretty unique devil fruit power, which does help with the prehistoric and mythical thing with the beast pirates. Like King, we also get to meet King in this part as well, is a pterodactyl, well, pterodon. Queen is, I believe, a brachiosaurus, and Jack, that we've seen previously, is a mammoth. And Kaido is a dragon. Now, Queen, I like Queen's personality in the sense that it's overly flamboyant and reminds me similarly to how Ivankov tends to like be overly expressive in whatever he likes. The only thing is that Queen is insanely cool and enjoys this type of things, especially in the prison that Queen runs. So when Kid eventually, tries escaping and does escape, we see him brought back later on with Killer. Now that was a big reveal that people have speculated ever since that chapter of the manga when the bandaged warrior attacked Zoro. Everyone wondered who this guy was, and people have stated that it actually could be B because Kid, no way in hell was he captured alone. And if Kid's out there, if Killer is out there, chances are he's probably trying to find a way to break into the prison and get Kid out. But that isn't the case. Killer Killer was basically managed to escape the prison on his own, but only after succumbing to the side effects of Kaido's artificially created devil fruits from Doflamingo. I'm sorry about the ring there. It happens randomly due to motion sensors. But yeah. And in this part, we get to learn the darker truth of the country of Wano and whatever side effects the smile fruits have. Because when we learned that Kaido was getting artificially created devil fruits from Caesar and Doflamingo, we're like, so many devil fruits are made artificially, but how in the hell can you do that without any type of side effect? And now we know. The side effect is that nobody who eats a smile fruit that doesn't give them powers or gives them powers is forced to smile and laugh constantly. That is what the name smile fruit refers to. Successful smile fruit devourers gain the powers of said devil fruit. A larger portion of them not only get the power, but also get the side effect of smiling constantly, as well as the laughing deal. And Orochi makes it so that he gives the leftovers of those eaten devil fruits to the commoners because they eat the scraps due to Orochi's cruel rule, and they now have the exact same side effects. This shocks everybody. And then we get the reveal of Kinemon's plan to try and raise up arms with the samurai of Wano to take down Kaido on the night of a festival. I forgot the name of the festival. I think it's the Fire Festival. And we also, with this, we get to learn a lot of Kinemon's strategic prowess. And we get to see what all the Straw Hats are doing and are up to while Luffy is currently in prison. And we do get to see a lot of things that really are amazing, like Sanji donning his Germa suit as a way to maintain his identity and fight off X-Drake and his subordinate as Soba Mask. And I really like how Sanji pretty much got into the whole persona of Soba Mask and gave himself a whole name just so he can protect people. And I really did like Sanji at the beginning of the arc when he's like, I am using this. No way in hell I am using the power of science that pretty much ruined my life. But he's like, I have to maintain my identity, unlike that idiot Samurai Zoro and Luffy, so the plan can go off without any more of a hitch. And it works. Sanji's identity is pretty much concealed, and he's Sangoro, his Wano persona. And we do get to see, like, Nami learning how to be a female ninja, Kunoichi, getting some information, Robin getting some information as well, and pretty much getting chased out of the castle of Orochi. We also get some major reveals as well in the later arc, like Momo's sister is alive, and she was fully grown, and she was basically undercover, or something like that, and her guardian, the Kappa, who I believe was actually a fishman, revealed that he was a fishman, was protecting her until he eventually got caught and put in jail. Now, back in the prison, Killer and Kid end up getting captured by the guards, the soldiers of Kaido, and brought back into the prison. But Luffy ends up getting put into a death match with this old man that he stuck up for eventually at the beginning of this part of Wano. And Queen decided to have a contest. Luffy and this old man have to stay in this ring. And if they step out of the ring, Kid and Killer will be dunked into seawater and drowned to death. And also due to the collars that Queen placed on Luffy and the old man's neck. It is in this fight that we learned that the old man Luffy ended up saving was actually a former Yakuza boss and also a summer friend of Kozuki Oden, Momonosuke's father. And he knows a particular way of using haki, which is dubbed, I think, Ryo, I think, if I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know in the comments if I'm saying this right, because all this is from memory, because everything is I reread recently for this video. So, by the time Luffy manages to beat off a ton of Queen's men, Queen himself, or herself, was it? Yeah, Queen himself managed to get into the ring to try and fight Luffy and was trying to play dirty just so Kid and Killer can end up dying. But Luffy at the last second, learning by instinct, ended up doing this new type of haki, of armored haki that has been able to use to break off the collar on him and the old man and save Kid and Killer. Now, while all this was going on, Big Mom, after trying to break into Wano after talking to Kaido in Act 1, ends up getting thrown off down a waterfall due to King in his beast form, in his pterodon form. And when she washes up on the shore, she has amnesia. Chopper and Otama find her, and they end up becoming friends with her. They end up bringing her towards the prison. She goes in, she takes down Queen with no problems whatsoever. And Queen's pretty much taken down. Luffy has an amazing moment where the prison guards are shooting poison bullets and stuff, poison gas at the prisoners. Luffy ends up taking the entire brunt of it, giving this whole thing to inspire the prisoners of this prison in Udon to help Luffy with this revolution. Now, they were, despite Luffy doing all this, they were still hesitant until Momo showed up with Chopper and Otama when they brought Big Mom to break into the prison. It was then that due to Momo being Odin's son and the fact that they need the rightful heir to take the throne of Shogun, they bow down. They make a new friend who is the Kappa samurai that was originally protecting Momo's sister, break him out, and they end up getting a crap ton of soldiers from the prison as well as weapons as well. Not to mention, we do get a good scene where Zoro ends up getting a brand new sword. Now, this new sword increases his armored haki. Now, what I'm talking about right now, this happens towards the end of the act. But I really want to talk about this. Zoro getting this brand new type of haki sword. A sword that manages to bring out the full extent of his armored haki. And with a single slash of the sword, he was able to cut down a cliff. He was able to cut a cliff in half while he was on it. Without much of a, from what I can tell, he wasn't even trying to cut the cliff. He was just trying to cut a rock. And it was amazing. This also sows a seed for a possible Zoro moment. A good Zoro moment where we see Zoro go all out. Now, remember, before a time skip, the only time the real Zoro going all out was against CP9 and against the Pacifistas. When he used his most powerful technique, Ashura Ichibugan, his 9-sword style. And honestly, I want to see that again. We haven't seen that technique since the time skip, which states that Zoro has not been going all out. Even in his fight against Pika, he did not hold, he was pretty much holding back. He wasn't using his most powerful technique. 3 Billion-Fold World is essentially a powered-up version of 3000 World, his original 3-sword style secret technique, which was able to take him out with a single hit. But imagine if he had Ashura, if he used Ashura, and with this new type of sword that draws out his armored haki, he could potentially do a full arm, or maybe possibly even, a full arm armored haki to increase the potency and strength of his slash. If he's able to remember that feeling and use it for the rest of his body, he might be able to use it for both of his arms and possibly even, well, the sword he holds in his mouth. Imagine how powerful Ashura would be. Because I do feel like that with the threat of Kaido and now Big Mom, Zoro would have to be at least at Yonko level or first mate to the Yonko level. You'd have to be around Luffy's level, pretty much. Now, I said Big Mom just now, and that's another thing I liked about Act 2. After the whole break-in at the prison and everyone escaping, Big Mom is taken to Kaido after she regains her memories. Go figure. So, Kaido tells everyone to take the restraints off of Big Mom, and the two of them have a clash. That's how the chapter ends. Then the next chapter after that, Big Mom and Kaido are drinking, laughing, being merry, saying that they decided that they were going to team up take down Luffy and the rebels, start conquering the world together, and then have one final battle between the two of them to see who would be in control of the entire world. Now, throughout throughout the Reverie and Wano, we've got bits of this ancient pirate crew from around Roger's age, before he became king of the pirates, called the Rocks Pirates, who were some of the strongest pirates in existence, led by a powerful pirate who only wanted to rule the world, wanted to be a whole world ruler. And a bunch of big name pirates were a part of that crew. Big Mom and Kaido were revealed to be two of them. Then it was Whitebeard, Shiki the Golden Lion, and some other people. Some other people I can't name off the top of my head. But yeah, this crew was mentioned by Hina in the Reverie arc, and Garp did say that things would end up going bad, or things would get interesting. It was also stated by Hina that despite them losing their captain over 30, 40, nearly 40 years ago, they were getting even stronger because Kaido and Big Mom, while they are old, they were still insanely powerful, and Whitebeard, the strongest out of the three of them. Now that Whitebeard's died, we all saw the events. A power vacuum was created. And with this alliance between two Yonko, two emperors of the sea, we have a lot to look forward to, because this adds more matchup possibilities. Not to mention that there are other things going on behind the scenes, like Law confronting Hawkins to get his crew back. The possibility of someone betraying the alliance at the end of Act 2. How the fights will end up going. The true history of Wano, which Act 3 is currently wrapping up, and I will get to it in a minute. Act 2 gives us a lot, and so much happens. A lot of things are shown, and you have to worry about Luffy and everyone else, because while he had half his crew, over at Whole Cake Island, and he had the support of Capone Bej, he was not able to even take down anyone fully from Big Mom. Katakuri was pretty much a way more powerful version of him. The only way Luffy was able to win was because he managed to just barely learn how to use observation haki to see a few seconds into the future, and because Katakuri ended up injuring himself to even the playing field, because Luffy got a very immortal injury because his sister butted in and gave him an easy hit, which wounded his pride. We all know that if Luffy didn't have those two crutches, then he would have lost to Katakuri. We have to accept that. Which means, what's going on right now in Wano, the old man that is teaching Luffy this new type of armored haki, is where he's able to use his willpower as a type of, blast to hit something where you can't normally hit it with brute force, a type of spirit force, similar to a force push that can break things in half, or put holes in it or damage it. This is a good mini training arc that we don't technically see, but we know is going on in the background while the rest of the stuff in Act 2 is happening as it's closing down. Act 2 concludes with Luffy pretty much from what we can tell, nearly perfecting this type of new haki attack. And if he combines it with Snake Man and even Bounce Man for 4th gear, he could be a real threat to Kaido and Big Mom. And by the end of said chapter, Orochi has found out about the plan. He basically puts bombs by the port, by the Sunny, and then by the night of the attack, no one's there. A lot of the ships are destroyed. The ships are destroyed, and it's horrible weather. Only ones there are Dogstrom, Kinemon, Konjuro, Momo, Shinobu. Momo and Odin's vassals are there with Momo to meet everyone, to meet the Straw Hats, to meet Law, to meet the rest of the rebels, but they're all gone. No sign of them. And that's where we end Act 2, because Dogstrom is just telling them, we planned so far ahead. We just gotta go. If we die, that's pretty much like, if we die, we die, but we have to succeed. That's the type of determination, because not only that, but Cat Viper hasn't shown up with Marco or any other reinforcements. So yeah, that's the thing. And then in between Acts 2 and 3, we get the full reveal of who the Rocks pirates are, possible links to Blackbeard and the leader of the Rocks pirates, Rocks D. Xebec, or Xebec. I can't pronounce his last name. But yeah, as well as the whole fact that Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom are part of the same pirate crew until it disbanded. The reason why Garp was made the hero of the Marines was at this place called God Valley, where we fought with the Celestial Dragons and Gold Roger to take down the Rocks pirates in a big, amazing battle. And I believe that's where Rocks met his end. And Garp got his name. This shows how strong Garp is. I mean, he's old now, so he's probably a little weaker. But then again, as we've seen from Whitebeard, Garp has still got to be insanely powerful. We also get the reveals of the bounties of all of the pirates, the emperors, all the emperors, as well as Gold Roger's bounty of nearly 6 trillion berries. Now, I expected something about 100 trillion, but whatever. Everyone expected a much bigger bounty for Roger, since he was the king of the pirates, and Whitebeard's was just a little bit below him. But I can deal with that, and everyone's pretty much just happy because any type of reveal, whether it be a huge info drop or a little bit of an info drop, us One Piece fans crave it. We will accept this as a gift from God. Well, not that far, but the fact that One Piece's world is so huge, so many questions that have yet to be answered, every time we get this type of information, we love it. Not only that, but we also get to hear the outcome of the reverie, or the leveling, if you go by how Oda changes things. But yeah, for the reverie, we get to see that the warlord system is taken down. No more warlords, just like Fujitora wanted. Which means Hancock is not a warlord anymore. Hawkeye Mihawk, not a warlord. Blackbeard became an emperor. Buggy, not a warlord. So many warlords are now up for grabs, and from the looks of the end of it, Kobe is going to fight Boa. And I really hope that this is a good fight. I do want Kobe to beat Boa, because if Kobe at this point can't beat Boa, I mean, Boa is insanely powerful. And if we take the One Piece Stampede movie as partially canon, she's insanely powerful. So we gotta think of this. Not to mention there's this type of thing surrounding Sabo and the Revolutionary Army, and something that happened at the Reverie. A death, failed assassination. We don't know if this was Sabo or not. Koala seems to think it's something that happened with Sabo, but we just don't know. So now we're going to have a bunch of fights with... We're going to have a lot of stuff that's going on with the warlords and the vice admirals and admirals of the Marines, because now that they are no longer warlords, their bounties are reinstated, and they're going to have to be treated as full-fledged pirates again. And I can't wait for it. And I really do hope Kobe does beat Boa, because despite Boa being insanely powerful, Kobe has to be the one to take down Boa, since Boa is pretty much one of Luffy's biggest contributors. Is that right? Contributors? Well, supporters, pretty much. You know, she's infatuated with Luffy. She loves him. If Kobe can't beat Boa, and at this point I believe Luffy is more powerful than Boa, then Kobe is way behind Luffy, because he made a promise to Luffy to be the one to catch him eventually. And I do believe that Kobe, by the end of the series, will have to be as powerful as Luffy. He would have to be the new Garp. That's the line. That's the path that I believe Oda is setting for Kobe. With that out of the way, let me just get with part 3. And I know I've been talking for over 20 minutes, for nearly a half hour on Act 2 and everything that's going on just by this point. And Act 2 had a lot of things going for it. Act 3 begins with a flashback. You heard me, a flashback arc of Odin, of his time in Wano, before he set out to sea and when he came back from going out to sea. So Odin was a troublemaker. He had a reputation of being a troublemaker and stuff like that in Wano, despite him being the Shogun's son. And Odin is insanely powerful. He basically took down a ton of things, a giant mountain war with a single strike of his two-sword style. And he ended up going on a journey across Wano. He ended up getting his vassals. He stopped a bunch of gangs and Yakuza members. He brought order to the town of Kuri and became the daimyo there. When that happened, he then learned that Whitebeard ended up landing in Wano. Odin ended up challenging Whitebeard to a fight, and I believe Odin lost. By the end of it, Odin was basically badgering Whitebeard to take him along with him on a journey. And this did happen because Odin, Izo, who we now know is from Wano, and ended up staying on Whitebeard's crew after this, along with Dogstrom and Cat Viper, ended up going on this journey with him, leaving Kinemon and everyone else to stay behind and keep Kuri in order, and learning how to be great vassals for Odin for when he returns, thanks to Yasui. I didn't mention Yasui in for Act 2. Oh man. But okay, look, Yasui is insanely important to the story because he's the one who gave up his life to try and make sure the rebellion went as it should have been. Everyone found out about it. So he decided to make it up like a joke. Make it out like a joke. So he can just give one over Orochi, that big asshole, that scumbag, before he died. And it happened. He died. A public execution. We do get to see Yasui's relationship to Odin in this flashback arc. Odin goes off with Whitebeard, goes off on an adventure with Whitebeard until they eventually, after about a couple months and meeting his future wife, Toki, I believe that's her correct name. He meets Toki. They fall in love. They begin and then they have 2 kids, which is Momo and his sister, Hiyori. Hiyori, that's the name. Momo and Hiyori. We find out that Toki has this devil fruit that allows her to just jump forward 20 years in the future. So yeah, we got that type of devil fruit, which was revealed back in part 1, Act 1 of Wano. Next up, when they meet Gold Roger ends up asking Odin to go with him because Odin can read the poneglyphs, and he wants Odin to translate the poneglyphs for him because they need to. He needs them for the road poneglyphs. He wants to find the end goal, Raftel or Laugh-Tail, from the Stampede movie, which is probably what's going to be its new translation, in the English dub especially. So, yeah. Odin ends up going with Whitebeard, much to Whitebeard's disapproval, and Dogstrom and Viper end up going with him, while Whitebeard takes Toki and everyone else and her kids back to Wano and Kuri so she can raise the kids with the help of Kinemon, Kanjuro, and everyone else. So Whitebeard ends up going on the nice big adventure. We get to see in Act 3 glimpses of Roger's final voyage across the Grand Line, across the New World, until he eventually makes it to Laugh-Tail. I'm just going to call it Raftel, because I like Raftel better than Laugh-Tail. But yeah, we get to see a lot of things going on. Odin gets a wanted poster. Odin gets his own wanted poster. They make it to say Skypiea meet Gav4, and Odin was the one that inscribed the poneglyph text onto the poneglyph in Skypiea. Then by the time they basically bring their journey to a close, Shanks and Buggy end up not going to the final island with Roger and everyone else. He's like, we'll go there on our own someday. And that's pretty much what they're doing now. So Roger, Odin, Rayleigh, and everyone else went to the final island. And they found the treasure of Joy Boy. And they laughed like crazy. That's where Laugh-Tail's name comes from, I guess. So then, after this, Roger's sickness is getting worse and worse. And his time is almost up. So he ends up leaving the ship with everyone in cheers. And does end up going to meet his, wife, I want to say? Ace's mother. End up meeting Ace's mother, and they fall in love, and they have Ace. Then Oden ends up leaving when they drop him off back in Wano. Tearful goodbye with the rest of the Roger pirates. And then Oden comes back to see what Orochi has done to his country. Because while Oden was gone, we were getting glimpses of Orochi worming his way into the position of Shogun. Because somebody in Wano who was a member, who was a co-conspirator for a member of his family when they tried to overthrow the Shogun eventually, had the clone fruit. The same fruit that Bon Clay had. Basically mimicked Oden's face and convinced the Shogun that Orochi should be the placeholder while until Oden becomes right for the job of Shogun. Then the current Shogun, Oden's father, ends up dying, presumably killed by Orochi, and has the woman with the clone fruit take the Shogun's place to appoint Orochi the placeholder Shogun for Oden. When Oden finds this out and what he's done, because Orochi teamed up with Kaido and his pirates, miscreated weapon factories, destroyed people's lives, he charged the castle to try and take down Orochi and then Kaido. And since Kaido Oden is technically very angry and rightfully so, he goes to try and kill him. But then someone else has a devil fruit that we see now had a devil fruit like 40 years ago, who is now in possession of another pirate. Some guy has the barrier fruit, the same thing that Bartolomeo has. It's honestly really nice to see Oden taking advantage of the fact that he says when a devil fruit user dies, their devil fruit appears somewhere else in the Grand Line or New World. I think it's Grand Line. And this is honestly great because Oden is also taking advantage of that, because now we get to see two characters who had these devil fruits previously in the main story. Nearly a half century ago, those fruits belonged to people in Wano. In Wano. This is a big deal. So then Oden, after this confrontation, and I'm already up to the current chapter of One Piece, Oden ends up having to take a huge burden on himself and act like a fool. A half-wit fool with a half-naked dance in the middle of the square every single day, because he's afraid that Kaido will end up taking down everything in Wano. He'll destroy Curry. He'll destroy his wife, his children, his friends. He has to do this or else Orochi will destroy Curry. Then, when he finds out that the boss of the Yakuza is placed in prison, presumably he believes he's killed, and his wife is killed. Not Toki. The Yakuza boss's wife is killed as well. Oden snaps. He snaps. Later that day, at the end of the panel, we see Oden, Dogstrom, Cat Viper, Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Shinobu, everybody getting in samurai cloaks and straw. I forgot the name of those straw-like hats that the samurai that Ronin tend to wear, and the red scabbard swords, and started marching towards the Flower Capital for their final showdown against Kaido. At the point of this is where everything ends, because this is where Oden goes to take on Kaido, where Hiyori tells Zoro that the sword that she gave Zoro was the only sword, the only weapon that was able to injure Kaido, and Oden possessed it. Oden possessed it. So in the next chapter, we are definitely going to see Oden fight Kaido and deal that lethal blow that leaves Kaido scarred permanently. And this will end up bringing the entire flashback to a close by the end of this, the chapter that's coming up, or the chapter after that. Then we'll get back to the main story and see what's going to happen next. I can't wait. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say. I really have enjoyed Wano. I loved every decision Oda has made with Wano. The pacing isn't slow. It's not like Dressrosa. Dressrosa had a very slow pacing. The anime destroyed it. Dressrosa is still one of my favorite arcs, but it was really long and dragged out. Oda himself even did say that his mistake was making it way too long and putting too many story elements into the single arc. But yeah, this flashback arc was short compared to a lot of other flashback arcs that we have been having in these since Dressrosa. I can't wait for this flashback arc to end in an epic fashion and go back to the story, because Wano is going to end this year, 2020. This is when Wano is going to end. I can't wait for the conclusion. I can't wait for the matchups between the Straw Hats and Odin's vassals, as well as the Law Pirates and the Minks against Kaido, Big Mom, and their subordinates. It's going to be amazing. Unfortunately, Katakuri is not going to be there since he's back on Whole Cake Island. It's a shame. But we can be surprised. Oda can surprise us. Oda can surprise us. But I doubt Katakuri is going to show up for a rematch with Luffy at this point, for right now. Too soon after his defeat, so I don't think he'll do anything. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I just can't wait to see who gets to deal the final blow against Kaido. Who gets to take down Big Mom? Will both of the Emperors be taken down in one fell swoop, leaving only Blackbeard and Shanks standing? These are the questions. These are the questions that we are going to be answered this year in Act 3 of Wano when it eventually ends. So much is going to happen. I can't wait to see the matchups. How the story will conclude, it's beyond me, but I have high hopes. Because Wano has been hyped up for the longest time, and right now the hype has been justified. This is this is Chris from the Review Cave. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog video. I did not mean for it to be this long, but I just have a lot to say about what's going on. This catching up with blank type videos will be long videos. I'm sorry about that, but you'll enjoy the conversation the conversation I'm bringing up. For the actual manga chapter reviews, they will be shorter, roughly 10 minutes or more, roughly 10 to 15 minutes. So don't worry about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you have an awesome day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for updates on future videos. I will be beginning to post more on recent manga and anime videos. Sorry, recent manga chapters and anime videos of current anime. So I will attempt to do that more. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I'm out. Oh, one more thing. I will in fact be doing the entire month of April. I will also be doing some ReZero videos, ReZero video reviews, like I've stated previously. So yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day.